Welcome to the Morgan Show. My name is Garnder alongside my partner,
Isiah Burnett.
First, I want to give a big shout out to the volleyball team for picking up a win this past weekend against South Carolina State University. And also, let's start to be on the lookout as bowling and cross-country teams are starting their season. Now, to kick off into some football, this weekend our Morgan State Bears will be playing Virginia University of Lynchburg here at home. And also, next Saturday, also here at Hughes Stadium, our very own Morgan State Bears will be facing off for our annual homecoming game against the Norfolk State University Spartans.
From the field to the lanes, our women's bowling team starts on the road against Youngstown State University on October 14th. Now to move on to the course. First, I want to say congratulations to Rachel Field on her second consecutive MEAC Runner of the Week honor. This past weekend, our men's cross-country team finished second and our women's finished third in the Maryland Eastern Shore Run. Their next meet will be next Friday, October 7th in Dover, Delaware.
And now to Lake for more on the volleyball team.
Good afternoon, Bears and Bearettes. I'm Lake Marion, starting off with volleyball news today. The Morgan State volleyball team defeated South Carolina State in 3 sets, 25-12, 25-21, and 25-9 on Sunday at Hill Fieldhouse. The win marked the Bears' first MEAC win of the season and marked their 5th straight win over the Bulldogs. The Bears were led by outside hitter Michaela Billingsley and middle blocker Justice Jackson, and a dominating win over the Bulldogs. Billingsley, a junior, finished the game with 11 kills and 1 dig with a .625 hitting percentage, while Jackson, also a junior, finished the game with 6 kills, 2 aces, and 3 blocks with a .364 hitting percentage. So far this season, Billingsley is averaging 8.9 kills, 1.3 digs, and 1.4 blocks per game, while Jackson is averaging 4.2 kills and 0.7 blocks per game. The Bears hope to win their next MEAC game against the Cotton State Eagles this Friday at 7 p.m.
Congratulations to Lawrence Richardson, who won Co-Defensive MEAC Player of the Week. Now here's Lake Marion with more insight on linebacker Lawrence Richardson.
Prior to the Bears' bye week, the Bears shut down the Sacred Heart Pioneers offense in a 24-9 win at home. The Bears had a player that stood out for their defense. Lawrence Richardson was the MEAC Defensive Player of the Week. Richardson had 19 solo tackles and is averaging 9.7 tackles a game. He is also leading the MEAC in tackles this season with 29 total tackles. Richardson is a Philadelphia native who came to Morgan State to play football because the Bears were the only school that believed in him. In his game against Sacred Heart, Richardson had 10 total tackles, 6 solo, and 4 assisted tackles. He also had 1 pass breakup and 2 quarterback hurries when pressuring the quarterback to help the Bears shut down the Pioneers' offense. We will see if Richardson can continue to show his presence on the field against Virginia Lynchburg this Saturday at Hughes Stadium at 12 p.m. Lake Marion from the Morgan Show. Go Bears.
Hello, this is the Where Are They Now segment. My name is Candyce Beazer, and I'm here with Miss Tiffany Pickens Byrd, who is a former Morgan State athlete and Hall of Famer. Miss Pickens Byrd, to my knowledge, you are one of the first, you are the first Black athletic coordinator for Baltimore City Public Schools. So I just want to congratulate you on that before anything.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. And my first question for you would be, how did going to Morgan shape your career now?
Wow, I really credit my attendance here with shaping me as a person, but also my professional career. I was very, very fortunate. I think that is like one of the draws of an HBCU. I felt like the department that I was in physical education, it was like a family. And the chair of that department, she's now passed on, but she was very close to me, Miss Margaret Barton. And so I had a very close relationship with her, and I felt like she had a role beyond just a professor or a chair. Like, us leaving prepared as professionals was her mission, and she made that clear. But she also developed very close personal relationships with us. So I do remember, like, in my senior year when we were traveling for what would be like my final game, she said, I've heard all of these things about you. I've worked with you all of this time, but I've never seen you play. So she took that trip with us to see me play in what would be my last collegiate game. So that was important. When she became, ill, I went to visit her at her home. Like, those were things that you don't just always find at larger universities. So the commitment that the professionals here had to make sure that we grew and developed to be professionals, that's a large part of why I'm doing what I'm doing and where I am.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you kind of dabbled in a little bit of all the sports here at Morgan. I know you played track and field as well as basketball, but you fell in love with volleyball. So my question to you would be, what made you choose volleyball?
Volleyball has actually always been my first love, and I did have plans to go to a basketball tryout, but the coach changed. So I had committed to playing for him, but then when it was a coaching change, I was like, I didn't sign up to play for anybody else. But I was a volleyball athlete here and a track and field athlete. I think early on, I started playing volleyball in about 5th grade, and I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, but it was always something about, I think the whole concept of, spiking and the team atmosphere, volleyball just always had a tug on my heart.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. And I know, you're considered one of the most heavy hitters to wear a Lady Bear uniform. How does it feel to hold that title?
Wow, I played with some phenomenal women. I've also seen quite a few all-star players come behind me, so I won't say that I feel like I am one of the most heavy hitting, but what I will say, and I think Mr. Germany is the person who kind of coined this, I feel like I'm one of the more consistent to ever wear the uniform. Based on where you play, it kind of determines, outside hitters in volleyball are known for getting a lot of sets, and that can vary based on the passing, but in a middle hitter, you really need better passing to get some of those sets. So I think that one of the things I always try to pride myself on is being efficient. I can't really control how many times I get the ball, but it is my responsibility to control what I do when they send it here. So trying to make sure that, I was efficient, finishing with a kill or a tip, and being a smart player was something that I really worked hard at.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of working hard, how did it feel? How did you balance being a full-time student as well as a full-time athlete at your time here at Morgan?
I'm going to be honest, Ms. Candice. I consider myself always a nerd jock. That's just always, I came here like that, so I didn't need that. But I will say, one of the things that was easy to allow me to be myself and I didn't have to do anything else, I had some upperclassmen teammates who were concerned about how you carried yourself on campus, but also didn't hesitate to check in, are you going to class? Are you doing what you need to do? So for me, the balance was always being a student first. Actually, when I came to Morgan, I did have athletic money, but my first semester, I got straight A's. And so before the year was out, or going into the second year, I was switched to an academic scholarship. So Coach Beazer, who was my coach when I was here, she always teases me. She tells stories when she recruits, I have an athlete that knew exactly how many B's they got the entire time they were here. So that was me. I know it was 7 B's and it was 1 C in accounting. And I promise, I think I was looking for that professor for a long time because I'm like, wait a minute, a C? What? Wait, I don't understand. And so that was already instilled in me when I got here, but having that supportive environment of teammates who wanted to make sure that you were also successful there, that helped as well.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about teammates, and my next question to you would be, what do you think makes a good team dynamic?
I think a good team dynamic starts with having a common goal or mission. It's important to make sure that you're all striving for the same thing. And I think one of the other dynamics that may not be talked about as much, I think every team will have all-stars. I think my team was unique here, particularly in those championship years. I'm proud to say it hurt in the beginning, but in all 4 years here, we went to a championship game, and not many people can say that. We only won 2, but we did go to 4. And I think that there has to be some balance when you have a team that's strong, but also knowing and understanding and being willing to be a role player, I think really helps. Because everybody can't be an all-star every night. So knowing when it's time to step up, when you just have to, be that person that's in a support role. And so that was another thing that I think I focused on. I knew with the balance hitting attack we had, we had to share the ball. There were going to be sets going all around. But one thing that I was hoping that I could be dependent on was always to show leadership, to be that spirited voice on the court, to make sure that we were, handling those intangibles as well. So I can say as a player, I did give consideration to those things.
Mm-hmm. My next question will be for you. What did life look like after Morgan? After winning the championships and after, getting all your titles, what did life look like for Miss Tiffany
Wow.
Pickens Byrd after Morgan?
started with adulting, I guess. And I don't want to say that I wasn't prepared. I do believe like that Morgan prepared me, but it was a transition. I consider this to be one of the, I guess, most fun times in life because it was kind of like a pseudo life. Like you were adulting in a way, but not really responsible for much. So upon graduation, I did get a job with Baltimore City Public Schools. And I can say as a physical education major, my concentration was sports administration. So in the summer of '97, I was fortunate to do an internship with Nike. So I always had an interest in sports, but if I'm being honest, I didn't go the K-12 educational route because that wasn't really my intent. But I went to a job fair, and so in the job fair, I did get a teaching position at a very historically powerful school here. And so what drew me to that position, if I'm just being honest, is it gave me the opportunity to coach. Mm-hmm. So I started being a teacher with the goal of being able to give back and share like those things that had kind of created and those valuable lessons that I had learned through sport with young people. And so I thought it was going to be a short-term plan, and I think I'm in year 23 with the school system. So my math maybe wasn't too strong, but that's what life looked like. I transitioned to a coach and a teacher with the Baltimore City Public School Systems.
Mm-hmm. And my last question would be for you, given that it is, current volleyball season, what would you like to see from the Morgan State current volleyball team?
Well, they have a new coach this year, and so I know following somebody that has been in a position as long as Coach Beazer was, I just hope that they find their rhythm. I hope that they are able to identify what success is, for them, and I hope that they enjoy playing the game. I mean, at the end of the day, they're there because they love it, and I hope that that can come through in their style of play. I will understand always that athletics is a business in college, but I think remembering and holding on to that passion that you first had when you learned to play is something that keeps players motivated. I'm sure it keeps a coach excited, and so I do hope that they, have a winning record. I see from what I've seen on social media, they're starting out pretty strong as they're getting into their conference schedule, and so I hope that they continue to pursue their love, their passion, of course, getting good grades in the other part, but those years go quickly, and so I can, remember that it's only so many times that you can say, like, next year, eventually they run out, so that they have an experience that they can be proud of when they leave.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ms. Pickens Byrd. Once again, my name is Candyce Beazer, this is Ms. Tiffany Pickens Byrd, and this is the Where Are They Now segment.
And that's all for today, folks. On The Morgan Show, I'm Garnder.
I'm Sierra Burnett.